With us now is Tyrone Ballesteros from the National Veterans Foundation. Tyrone, thanks for joining us today and welcome to In Their Boots.
Hey, Jen, thanks for having me.
Yeah, and Tyrone, can you tell us what type of services are veterans in need of today?
Today, there are a lot of services currently that veteran needs. Some are no different than non-veterans are, as far as like financial help with the housing market the way it's going, with the unemployment the way it's going, and the stock market, and just the whole financial institute the way it's moving along right now. Veterans, they don't necessarily. Well, there are things that they specifically need, and then there are things that the whole country needs right now. So, as far as specifically for veterans, not only is all of the financial burden or all of the financial troubles on them in the mortgage or the loan problems, but you also have the either an injury, a combat injury, whether it's a PTSD or a traumatic brain injury or a severe injury like missing limbs or amputation after the fact. So these are some of the problems that we're running into and that veterans are facing on top of everything else that, the civilian world is facing. We see that, and then we see, well, put PTSD on top of all that, and then what do we get, So
Exactly.
That's what we're looking at. That's what we're facing right now.
Well, what are some simple things that people can do in their community to help vets around them?
Well, some of the simplest things are really, I say, the financial problem that we're having, but just giving to a community-based organization. If you know a veterans organization in your community that has an outreach program, specifically a grant program or a lending program to veterans, or a household goods. We see donate your car all over the country. Well, you can also donate household goods for veterans. Financial help is desperately needed for veterans across the country. Also civilians, but like I said, veterans have compounded issues when you're throwing combat injuries into it. So, although we can go out and get a job just like somebody else. Well, maybe there's something keeping us from getting that a job. So really donating to a grassroots organization or a community-based organization is one thing. Also, if you're out there and you are hiring, hire a veteran. We always say, support the troops, hire vets first, and this and that. But honestly, when I first got out of the service, I'm not a combat vet, but I dug ditches for 2 years, to get me through school and to get some extra money coming. My dad was a plumber. He needed somebody to dig holes. That's what I did. Yeah. So we're not, I don't know. We're not afraid of hard work. You know what I mean? We're not afraid to go out and dig ditches when we know that, that we're working towards something, towards our future. So if there are jobs out there that, you need to get done, hire a veteran.
Yeah. Now, with the new wave of veterans that's heading out into the civilian world, breaking ties with the military after these wars, do you think the community, or I guess the nation and communities are ready to meet these veterans?
Honestly, no. No. We've been seeing it for these last few years. The VA is trying hard to implement new programs to really catch up with the times as far as the GI Bill, some of their outreach programs, really catch up on PTSD. We've pretty much known about PTSD since the end of Vietnam, and to think that it just went away, and not continue to do the research, not continue to have their programs evolve, is a tough thing. So the VA is trying to catch up with the times. They're throwing money at a problem, and that works in that you do get the people that hired, you do get vet centers opened up, maybe a few more outpatient clinics contracted with, but training is a key thing. I mean, if these people aren't trained, or if the new hires aren't trained on veteran-specific issues, then it's really just clogging up the system even more, because they have to learn, or they make mistakes on paperwork, or they're not familiar with PTSD and suicidal tendencies as it pertains to veterans with PTSD or traumatic brain injury. Then really they're doing more harm than good. I mean, it's not always, if you don't do it right, just throwing money at a problem isn't going to fix the problem,
Yeah. Tyrone, why is Veterans Day so important?
Why is Veterans Day? Well, I'm a veteran, and my dad is a veteran, my sisters, my brother, my grandfather. So it's important to me to really that I connect with not just on Christmas or on other holidays, but specifically for me, it's important that there is something that I have in common with my brother and my sisters who were in the service, and my dad, of course, and my uncles, that really we don't share that with anybody else, even in our own family. So it's something there. For me, it's important, and for us, it's important to realize that I wasn't a combat veteran, my sister wasn't, but my dad and my grandfathers were, and we really talk and we reflect on the fact that we may not have been in combat, some of us, but it wasn't that we weren't willing to. I mean, when the Gulf War came down, I was in service. I was active duty, and I got out a couple of months before the 82nd actually got deployed. So when it all happened, we were just like, well, it's time to go to work type of thing. It wasn't like, well, we're going to war and this is what's going to happen. But my dad wasn't warning me to get out now. It was just like, it's time to go to work. So Veterans Day is specifically important because, less than 1% of this country is called or actually answers the call to serve this country. There aren't a whole lot of veterans in this country who are willing to make the sacrifices that the few are willing to make. And it's important that we recognize that, because when we go out to dinner, when we go to movies, or when we drive down the street, it's important to know that we're safe and secure. Right now I'm at an event in New York, and it seems the whole landscape is different here, and than it was maybe in 2002. That everybody just seems to be moving on with their daily lives. And this is an important day to remember that there's a reason why we're able to do that. And veterans are the reason.
Yeah. Well, Tyrone, we want to thank you for joining us here today, and for the work that you do with the National Veterans Foundation. You and all the rest of the staff there, you're a very dedicated and real advocate for veterans today. So thank you, and happy Veterans Day.
Thanks so much, and happy Veterans Day to you too.
All right, we'll see you.
See you later.